Alright guys, I'm going to go through how to disassemble your T15 and put it back together, pretty much all the way down. So first we got our Tiberius T15. This one's got a Magpul MOE grip and an angled foregrip on it. So first things first, we're going to take and remove the barrel. What I'm going to do is look inside the mag well here. I'm going to turn the barrel and pull it out. What you want to look for is you should be able to see half of the bolt. When you see half the bolt through the hole on your barrel here, you should be able to pull it right out. So we'll set our barrel to the side here. Okay, so we have our barrel out. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to split the upper receiver and the lower receiver apart from each other. On the upper and lower we have two pins right here. Okay, so we're flipping over the back side here. You got the two pins right here and here. I'm going to take a small Allen key. I'm just going to pop them out. Okay, these pins will not fall out the back. They're self-contained, so we're going to take and pull them all the way out. Now we should be able to separate our upper and lower receivers from each other. Okay, so we take my upper, I'm going to set that to the side. We're going to focus on the lower here. Okay, on the bottom of my Magpul hand grip there's a little cover. We'll remove that cover, and inside here there's a bolt that's going to hold the grip on. I'm using metric Allen keys because that's what I got. So this is a 4.5 mil Allen key. It fits in there good enough for you to actually take it apart. So I'm going to take the screw out. Okay. Now when you're taking the screw out, you need to be careful. Take the screw out. There will be a spring inside here that keeps the selector switch in place and provides pressure for the detent for the selector spring. So we'll pull our hand grip out, we'll set that to the side here. We're going to take our spring right here, we'll set that with the grip. Take and turn the lower receiver upside down here, give it a little shake, and you should get your detent for the our detent here for the selector switch. Next, you'll notice our selector switch will just slide right out. We'll set that aside here. Now on the receiver here we have 3 pins, 1, 2, 3. These 2 pins right here, they're right above the trigger group, are the 2 we're going to need to remove. You'll see that one side has dimples, the other side does not have dimples. So what you want to do is you want to go on the side with the dimples. We're going to use our Allen key again. We're going to push those 2 pins out the back side. We'll set those aside. And now we should be able to grab our trigger group, our trigger assembly here. And maybe, there we go. And we'll pull our trigger assembly out. Okay, so we'll set our trigger assembly down over here. This is about as far as you're going to need to go with the lower receiver. Always be careful of the O-ring on the gas block up here. But other than that, we can set our lower aside. And we'll grab our upper receiver now. Now to remove our handguard here, there's 4 screws. It is actually a 3mm Allen key that's the correct size for these. So you need a 3 mil if you have standard stuff, and nothing in standard is going to work. Okay, so remove these 4 screws. 1, 2, 3. 4. Okay. Now, on our delta ring here, we're going to pull back. I'm going to set this upright. We'll pull back on my delta ring, and I should be able to pop both sides of my handguard off. Set these aside over here. Okay. Now I have my barrel sleeve here, my delta ring, my gas block, and my upper receiver. I'm going to use my spanner wrench that came with the marker. You'll notice, if you guys can see, there's little teeth here on the delta ring, and there's two parts on your spanner wrench to be able to hook on, and you'll be able to start spinning. You can loosen it up, then you can grab the bottom of the delta ring, start to rotate it, and you should be able to separate your sleeve and gas block and delta ring from the lower receiver here. Okay. Now, one thing you want to be careful of is this cover plate here, the dust cover. If you pull this pin out, the spring's going to come apart right down here, and it won't close by itself. So what you have to do is actually flip that spring, so the little leg of it is outside on the bottom here. Okay, so be careful of that. Now I can flip this up here, do an 1/8 of a turn, 1/16 of a turn. We'll pop out our back cap and our spring. We'll pull our bolt out, and there we go. Marker's fully disassembled. So reassembly here. We're going to take our bolt. We'll put our bolt back into the upper receiver here. Push that in place. We'll put our cap and spring back in. Okay, pop that into place. We're going to take our delta ring and our barrel sleeve here. Now, if you notice on our barrel sleeve here, there is a snap ring and a small metal piece right here. And you'll notice on the upper receiver, okay, hopefully you should be able to see it, there's a little piece of metal missing. So that little piece of metal is going to line up with that chunk that's missing on your upper receiver, and from there we should be able to spin your delta ring and barrel sleeve on. Okay, we'll take our spanner wrench, give it a quick little turn here, get it snug. Okay. Now I'm going to take my lower, we'll pull back my delta ring, and we will insert that into place. Now, if this doesn't line up here, you actually have to turn the delta ring a little more, because on the handguard we have nubs on the handguard that are going to line up with the teeth on the delta ring itself. So you might have to tweak it, tighten it up a little bit. You might have to loosen it up just a tad bit to get this all together. Okay. Now, one thing to note when you're putting this back on, the edge here that is tapered back is the side that goes against the delta ring. Okay, so you pull back on the delta ring, you hear it snap into place. And this delta ring's not fitting on the way I would like it to. So let's take a look here. go. Drop in our screws here. Now remember, start tightening the screws by hand here whenever possible. They'll help prevent cross-threading. Okay. So now I'm going to take my 3mm Allen key. We're going to run these down. I'm going to go a crisscross pattern so we don't over torque one side more than the other. Okay. No need to super over tighten these, just make sure that they're snug. So now our upper receiver is back together. Put that to the side. We'll put our lower receiver back together now. We'll take our trigger here, trigger assembly. We'll drop that in place here. Now you want to make sure that you line up the holes. You should be able to see all the way through them. Now, like we said earlier, these pins have a dimpled side and a flat side. So the dimpled side is going to go through the side where it says Tiberius arms. Okay. It doesn't matter which one goes where. Okay, we'll put those in. Now I take my Allen key and just pop them in place. Now my trigger's back in. I'm going to take my selector switch here. Slide the selector switch in. We'll flip it upside down. We'll put our detent for the selector switch in. Now I find when putting my hand grip back on, I'm going to take and put the Allen key inside onto the bolt, or onto the Allen nut, or Allen bolt. There we go. I'm going to put my spring into the grip. I'm going to hold the spring as I drop this all in, so then it'll all go in place, and I'll start threading this on. Be careful not to cross thread this. Okay, tighten that up. Put our cover plate back on. Okay, I'm going to pop my pins out here. I'm going to take the upper and the lower. I'm going to put the front end first. Here, and okay, got my pin in, so now they're the fronts together. We'll drop the back down, push my pin in. Alright, we'll take our barrel, slide our barrel in. Now this is where it gets a little goofy sometimes, you just gotta kind of turn it, push in. You'll feel it locked down in. I look in the mag well, I turn it to the first bump there so I can see the bolt in the mag well here. And now my marker is completely put back together.